Okay, Activision Blizzard released its earnings report for the third quarter, and it broke all of its own previous sales records. Reporting non-GAAP net revenues. I don't know if you know what that
GAAP.
means.
Generally accepted accounting principles.
There you go.
This guy.
Yeah.
Reporting those of 1.7 billion US dollars. Activision's earnings for the same period last year were 657 million dollars.
Damn, that's like a 50% increase.
Are they still running Call of Duty?
Call of Duty isn't even
They're
taken into
multiple, right?
articulated in this.
Okay.
So what, not the speculation. So the earnings were pushed largely by Destiny, which generated $500 million in revenue since it's been out.
Right.
And it's said to be the largest new. It is the largest new franchise launch in history.
Mm-hmm.
So
I went to the midnight premiere of Destiny. There were some nerds there. There were these two dudes next to me who were comparing the data usage on their Galaxy Notes, and they were like getting off to it. It was weird.
were they arguing?
No, they were just like, "Oh, look at your usage." He's like, "Oh, look at mine." Like, and then there was this dude next to me telling his like glory stories from Battlefield 4 about, like, yeah, man, like
Those are good stories, though.
I sniped a dude from point B all the way to point C, and like the dudes knew what that meant.
They're like, oh.
I'm ashamed to say I knew what that meant too, but I was not, I wasn't telling that story.
Right, yeah, clearly.
Yeah, so I know that you have played a lot of Destiny, and I've played quite a bit of it as well. I just want to hear what your overarching opinion of the game is, and clearly they also announced a sequel is in the works.
I'll bet they did. Yeah. And here's what I have to say about that. Okay, I've been waiting for this moment.
Been in my bed at night just writing words down.
Destiny is not what they made it out to be. They made it sound like it was going to be an RPG, kind of like Skyrim, where there was all this cool stuff to do and explore, and it really isn't. Basically, you just go kill things, and you kill the same things over and over again to get
loot.
To get loot, and after a while, the loot is all essentially the same, and it kind of loses its value. So if you know going into it that it's basically like WoW or Diablo meets Halo, that's fine. And the multiplayer is great. Kevin Moschel and I play together all the time, and our other buddy Sal.
Okay.
We do really well, and it's a lot of fun. And if you don't have friends to play with, the game sucks.
Yep.
It's the camaraderie that makes it so fun.
That's my biggest complaint with it, though.
You don't have anyone to play with?
Well, think about it this way. If the only thing that's keeping me coming to this game is my friends, me and my friends can play any other game.
Yeah, that's the problem with it, is that you and your friends are just enjoying a crappy game together.
Exactly.
So that's like, I have played a lot of it's fun, but it's bad. And people keep saying it's not a game, it's a platform. They're gonna keep expanding it forever. You're gonna be playing this game for 10 years.
Yeah.
That was one of my
And you just tell me that there's a
excuses, too,
sequel coming out? Like, all right, so
clearly it's like
clearly
a strategy fork.
they got their money and they're good now.
It's Activision.
And they're gonna charge you for the DLC. Don't think they won't. And
Now, earlier you said that it's just a loot-driven game like WoW or Diablo was, but what's the difference between Diablo's loot system and WoW's loot system that seems to be really compelling, whereas we are bored with Destiny's loot system already? Like, where do you think that line is?
I've never played WoW. I've watched people play WoW and Diablo, and I hated every moment of it. But I'm guessing it was more complex or something, or somehow it was harder to get certain items. In Destiny, there's like different tiers of weapons, uncommon through rare, then legendary, which is really great, and then there's these things called exotic. If you only played for a month, you probably
I have an exotic helmet.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, the way it works, you can only have one exotic weapon and one exotic armor piece at one time.
Which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, but there's this dude who shows up in the tower. His name's Zur, and he kind of looks like a Nazgul. He shows up like every weekend. He's here right now. I hit him up this morning. He didn't have anything good.
He's like our drug dealer in Destiny.
No, really. He lurks in the corner and he's like, "Hey, man. I got that exotic stuff for you.
You want that auto rifle? I'm out, dude. You should have come earlier."
And so the thing is, like, everybody, if you have enough strange coins or whatever the currency is, you can get this exotic stuff. So you don't feel that special when you have it, because everybody's got it.
Right.
And I saw something on Reddit the other day. Some dude had a brain tumor or something and had surgery and is recovering. Mm-hmm. And they recommended playing video games to help him get his motor coordination back. And he was like, "Well, I play Destiny." And Bungie sent him some new exotic weapon they like send it to his in-game mailbox, and only he has it.
That's
Wow.
cool.
That's awesome.
That's a perfect Bungie thing to do.
That's
Bungie's
great.
very good at cultivating that awesome community.
Yeah.
See, I'm kind of talking out of my butt because I haven't played any of these games.
Hunter, what do you think this podcast is?
but butt talking. But I feel like as far as I understand, as far as like people that love WoW and stuff, I just feel like they do a good job of like continuing to incentivize them with things, with their efforts. You know, it's like you kind of said that you kind of like top out at the loot system. Like you get to a point and you're like, okay, well, all this stuff's kind of the same, and like you don't know if that's because it's a short lifespan right now, but like WoW, I just feel like people just keep getting more and more badass gear and armor, and like, you know, they can keep kind of like subdividing all their efforts into like, oh, getting this one thing, and it's like,
Yeah,
you're just getting all
I'll,
like.
I'll speak to that real quick. I mean, I think there's definitely going to be like they'll increase the level cap somehow in Destiny and all that. I'm sure the grind will keep going. But what agitated me with that loot system is that I felt as if no matter how much effort I put into whatever missions I needed to do or whatever bounties I needed to complete, I was never guaranteed what I was working for.
Yeah, you're not.
And sometimes that's just how it is in video games, but it's to the point where I almost
crapshoot.
I almost felt never rewarded.
Right.
You know, and I just couldn't play 2 more hours of doing the same crap that I've been doing to not get something.
And
Right.
it is the same crap. Like I've done so many of the same missions like over and over again with my friends. Like, and you know, because I'm with my friends, it's fine. But I could not do that alone. It's like because they're also all the missions are the same thing. You go down into some sort of dungeon. Your little Peter Dinklage thing that's flying around.
Dinklebot.
He has to unlock a door or decrypt some stupid thing, and you defend him while he does it, and then some really badass guy comes out at the end, and you kill that guy, and it's over, and you don't get rewarded.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Anyway, well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. I'm glad that we share the same opinions because I was not
I'm glad
about
Forrest
to
can
argue.
speak to it because I'm literally I have nothing to.
We're just butt talking over here, man. A lot of
all
butt
that butt
talking.
talk, you know.
Okay, my next news item is we're gonna keep it in the gaming realm.